Max, you like to keep it real with me. Alabama's bringing back Dixieland Delight. Now, I know you probably hadn't been in the stadium because you got to watch all the football. And everybody's saying, boy, I hope we can keep it. I hope they won't cuss. There'll be some that cuss. There'll be some that won't. But they're doing it to try to keep the fans in the stands till the end of the fourth quarter. If the fans stay, which they are going to, I don't think the administration and Nick Saban going to care if they cuss or not because they kept them there the whole game. They're going to keep playing the song. It's not whether they cuss or not. It's whether the fans stay. Is that right or wrong, Max?
I hate to say this, Brad, but those kind of things never even bothered me. I never even worried about it. Never even thought about it, to tell you the truth. All the hoopla has been going on in Tuscaloosa in the last week or so. I understand why Coach Saban trying to get the kids the students to stay and la. But you know what? When you're that good and you're beating people that badly and your schedule is not that strong with some of those teams, what else can you do? I mean, they aren't going to let you, sit there and have a party in the stands.
Well, let me ask you this. This is my Twitter question today. What does it say? And then we'll get to some real conversation. What does it say about Bama football fans that Dixieland Delight can keep the fans in the stands to the end of the game, but a national championship football team can't?
I take my word for that is boredom. That's the only thing I know. They just get tired of seeing them run up down the field. Which, by the way, last time I checked, that's what you're supposed to do to win football games. I don't know. Look, when you got 100,000 people there, you guys both know that you're not going to keep them all satisfied all the time anyway. Yeah, that's just a matter of fact.
Yeah.
My dad had a favorite saying, where two more gather together, one of them's going to be a jerk, and he's going to walk off. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Before we get into real games themselves, I'm sure there are a lot of disgruntled, bitter Ole Miss fans because of Hugh Freeze. And I would imagine that the two people that put him in there, Mannings and the other guy that had all the money, are bitter at him. Is there any comment at all about him taking a job or trying to get back in?
No, here's the thing I think everybody probably already knew. He wasn't going back to the college ranks. I don't think many of them care about him being in the, whatever this new minor league is in the NFL. Yeah. From everything I've heard, and I've talked to several people in the last couple of days, it's kind of like, he wanted to get back into coaching. He went to Arizona. He got out of the college ranks, and I don't think that was an accident. That was by design from the SEC administration and maybe NCAA as well. But they didn't want him back in the college ranks, and, he got him a coaching job, and if he's going to do it, that's where he ought to be. It's the NFL. They don't have a whole lot of moral rules about the things the way they operate sometimes. So
is that temporary, you think, to get back in college, or you have a hard time getting back in?
Yeah, he'll be like Coach Saban. That's not his thing, but he doesn't have any other choice. I think, and I'll be honest with you, Coach. I think he's going to have to stay 4 or 5 years. I don't think he's just going to go stay 1 year and then bounce back.
Okay, but wouldn't he rather go to the NFL? Could he not get in the NFL?
Well, but that's hard. That's almost, you got to know somebody to get in at that level. I mean, you got to be recommended. In particular, if you've got some black marks on your record somewhere, not in the operation. I don't think a lot of people really. They understood about the recruiting thing. I think I'm not saying they accepted it, but they understand that. But the fact on the moral factor that he preached one word and acted another, that's a character questionable situation. I think that's probably one of the reasons he hadn't gotten back in anywhere.
Well, there's a lot of bitterness there between Mannings and him.
See, I don't know. I don't know the details. I know that Archie, after that all blew up, Archie disappeared. He didn't have anything to say pro or con about that. Sean Tui did the same thing. He was the other guy that was heavily involved. You're going to get all sides. And all I don't ever comment hardly. I've never asked to comment about it. I don't. But I do listen a lot. And, it caused a pretty good division with a lot of people. And I think you're going to continue to see some administrative changes because of that at Ole Miss. You're going to see a new president, the new contract on the old president was not renewed. They're going after a new president. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know how the athletic director is going to survive either for us. This thing's all over. When all the probation goes away, I think we're going to see almost a whole house cleaning from the president of the university down through. I think even Matt Luke. I think they're going to clean all of them out and try to start all over.
Okay.
Max, when the college football selection committee comes out with their first poll, I guess it's here in November. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
Are they going to be kind of careful where they initially put Central Florida? Like if you put them around 7 or 8 and then those people below them start losing, then you kind of are obligated to move them up. Or if you stick them down there at 13.
Very strength of schedule is going to keep them out.
But where are they going to initially rank them if they take down Memphis this weekend? If you put them at 5, 6, 7, they ain't gonna put them at 5, but 8 or 9 or somewhere like that.
10.
Okay,
Yeah,
10. But they still, we've seen people at 10 ease their way up there if they go undefeated. Is there any chance if these other teams lose that Central Florida can be? Well, Dan is going to be crushed.
No, I know that. I'm just playing with that. I know. I'm not that stupid.
I know you're not. But.
Guys, let me tell you. Here's what: the further you go into the schedule, remember what strength of schedule is. It's not yours; it's all your opponents. Remember that formula is way more far-reaching than just who Central Florida played. It's who Central Florida played and who they played measures the strength of schedule, and there can no way they could ever get there.
So, what will they be ranked if they're undefeated in the initial poll? I think it does initially. I don't think they'll get there, but I think they have to be careful because if they put them around 8 or 9, those people below them lose, and they don't move them down. They're going to go.
They can't move them up if the strength of schedule is not comparable to everybody else.
But if they're blowing everybody out,
it does not. You know why? You know, if I got Alabama and I'm playing Central Florida, if I'm playing Coastal Carolina. Is because the strength of schedule and the talent level at the next who I play. Just because I beat them 50 or 70 to nothing, that doesn't necessarily mean my team is that great.
Well,
it calls me stubborn.
If Central Florida had played Alabama's schedule right now, they'd be 6-0. So you can't talk about schedule. Alabama's not playing anybody.
Alabama, go back and see who Alabama, where their history is. Central Florida, Scott Frost. Let's ask you this. Scott Frost took them undefeated last year. What is Scott Frost doing now?
Yeah, but history, that shouldn't have anything to do with this season. History.
You wait and see. I can promise you. Just very. Do you not understand the politics of this thing?
No, I do.
Don't try to
but I think where they're initially ranked, I think what I'm saying is I don't think they're going to get there either. But I think if the committee puts them around 8 or 9, then they give all those Central Florida people a lot of gripes if people below them start losing. Where if they stick them at 13, they ain't getting there regardless. But if you put them at 8 or 9, they're going to go crazy if you don't.
Well, good. That's good for college football. Look, that's great for college
Max,
football.
Let me ask you something on another subject, on another line.
Good. It's nobody talks about it. Just remember that.
Max.
Yes, sir.
If LSU loses to Georgia, and for some reason gets beaten up and were to get beat at home by Mississippi State, going down the line and get beat by Alabama. And I don't, the only other team that could beat them would be A&M. But if they were to lose those 3, what would be the state of the contract situation at LSU with their coaches?
No, I think they'll beat their. Ogeron just got, got a new contract. First of all, I don't think they can lose. They won't lose to Mississippi State. He
got a new contract when?
Right after when he got the new job. When he got it's his second year. He's in his second year of his new contract. And I think it's a 5-year deal. I think because he won early, and I think whether they can beat Georgia or not, they're going to play him a good bunch. The line's only 6.5, and Georgia's ranked number 2 in the country. And up until this past weekend, they lost to Florida. They won at 5. So I think that there'll be some rumbling, sure, but I don't think they cut him loose. I really don't believe that.
That was the question.
First of all, I believe they can beat. I believe they beat Mississippi State. I believe they beat Texas A&M. If they lose to Georgia, they'll lose to Georgia and Alabama. They'll be 9-3, and they get a big bowl game. They should have been 10-3 last year. They lost that game to Notre Dame on the last 2 or 3 plays, and I think everybody recognized that. So let's just say they get a bowl, they go 10-3. They're not going to cut him loose at 10-3.
Well, look, the defensive coordinator we know is good. The offensive coordinator maybe has surprised us a little bit, but both the coordinators have done a pretty decent job.
Oh yeah, well they paid Aranda $2.5 million, just to keep him there, and everybody thought at the time, that he was the next coach in waiting. I don't know what some of those guys' personality doesn't lend itself, and Ed Ogeron was probably one of them. Didn't lend itself to be a head football coach, but he's there. And where Aranda stays or not, I don't know. The defense is pretty good. They recruit pretty well to that side of the ball. It appears that everything is settled down. I do agree that this ball game is huge for them right now, though, as far as public perception is concerned. I've said all along, in my opinion, if they played this game at night, I'd pick LSU to win it. LSU's physical. Georgia hadn't played anybody yet this good, particularly on the wide side, on the defensive side with the wide out, with the defensive backs versus the wideouts. I think it's going to be really, really a good ball game. And LSU coming off of a loss on the road, they'll come back home, I think, and they'll beat Durham loud. It'll be loud in that stadium, and I think they're there to play. If they don't make any mistakes, and Burroughs is kind of a game manager. He's not going to throw it around. They're going to let him keep it a few times and try to hand it off and run it and do a lot of play action and bubble screens, I think.
Max, what kind of coach, and I'm talking about coach on the field and then running a program, in your opinion, is Gus Malzahn? I mean, is he one of the top 4 or 5 in the league? Where's Gus Malzahn? Because he's getting about $7 million a year, Max.
He's $49 million richer than us. Let's put it that way.
Me and you.
I think Gus got to where he was because he had some really good talent, and they've made truly made some mistakes in some recruiting recently, and I don't know how that factors in and doesn't work for them. But I'm on just a personal opinion, and I heard the best conversation about this in comparing Gus to Coach Saban. Gus Malzahn would like to win. They put a program on. He's had some great talent, and they've won a championship. And they'd like. Coach Saban has to win, not from outside pressure, but from internal pressure. I think that was the best combination of an explanation of the two personalities I've ever heard. And I'll take that from Gus and move forward with it on your question, Barry. The fact is that somewhat there's not a drive inside that every minute of every day is about preparing that football team to go out there and win. It's just not there. And then when it doesn't go based on whatever they're – if you watch that ball game this past week, I think it was this loss. They have a clue, and I go right down to the skill level. I taped that ball game. I rewatched it twice since then. Every time Fitzgerald took a step back and ran the quarterback draw, if in fact – but I argued that the line you could have stopped that with the spy on the linebacker. Every time he did that, you know where the linebacker went? He went to the hook zone, like in zone coverage. Well, no, and then they pulled the guard, and the linebacker was 10 yards off the ball already. And no wonder he rushed for 195 yards. And here's the whole key to it. They never made a correction. They never adjusted to that. So let me just tell you about that in communication. If you can't make those adjustments, not at halftime, not at the quarter, during the game, play-by-play, Alabama makes them that way. Auburn can't. They aren't capable, in my opinion. That's because of the staff, and the staff they don't prepare that way. So I tell you all that to say, it's like daylight and dark between Alabama and Auburn in their preparation and their performance on the field.
So are you saying that Gus should go down? First of all, Kevin Steele should correct it, but if not, he's not, then Gus needs to go down there and say, Kevin, we have got to spy this guy. I mean, what are we doing? What happened? Did they not communicate during the game?
That's this communication is absolutely a communication gap. And the same thing on the offensive side. Chip will call a play. Guys, I've been doing Chip Lindsey since he coached at Spain Park. And I've watched it at Southern Miss. I watched him at Arizona. I watched him everywhere he's been. And I can tell you when the play runs who called the play. I can guarantee you I'll now be 95% right. Because Gus has got this thing in his mind look, you go back, he beat Alabama last year, he beat Georgia last year, but then all of a sudden the wheels came off. Why did he? If he already beat Georgia once, I've never have bought into the fact is it's hard to beat somebody the second time. If you do your work, why you don't beat them the second time is because usually the kids relax. Well, we didn't beat these guys once. We'll come back and just do it again. But to me, you got to work twice as hard. And a lot of people don't do that. So they go cruising back in, and Georgia beats them, and then Central Florida beats them. And you hear the old adage, well, they didn't even want to play. Well, if they don't want to play, don't go. I don't buy that. So there is a difference between a really well organized program where every day and every practice session is trying to get better than a program that just coached.
Yeah. Dad, anything else from Max? We find out.
Well, Georgia and Alabama are so far ahead of everybody. The only team in the catch-up mode early, in the early years, will be Florida. Tennessee's so far back that it's not going to be a catch-up for them in a year or two. If Florida is not in the catch-up mode, I think you think they're better than I do. I don't care for. I think you like them. I'm not sure about them. Really and LSU and Auburn are in the catch-up mode in the West. Maybe LSU a little bit more so than Auburn. We've got a boring next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I really think that Texas A&M is going to be next.
Yeah, I should have said that.
I think Jimbo's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Look, he's got all the resources in the world. He's in the state.
I should have said A&M.
Division I players. Yeah, I think he's a good football coach, and they're going to give him everything he wants out there. And I think a critical game this weekend is A&M going to South Carolina. I think A&M should win that ball game, but they can't coast on what they did last week by beating Kentucky in overtime or how well they played against Clemson. That's their two marquee games up to now. They got to go into South Carolina and control that game and win if that program wants to continue to improve. But I think they got as good a chance as anybody, maybe better than most, because of the resources they got out there.
What's for supper, Max?
Man, I've been watching the weather. When you get old, you sit around and watch the weather, and that's what you talk about. So I knew it was going to get a little cooler this weekend. I fixed a big old pot of Brunswick stew, pork, chicken, beef. I put my potatoes and corn and okra and onions in it. I use a base of tomatoes and ketchup, a little Worcestershire, and a sprinkle or two of garlic. Put that on. I let it cook for about 4 hours, really, really low, and just kind of I boil all the water out of it. Really, it's a stew. It's not a soup. That's the difference in what I do with it. Jalapeno cornbread on the side, Thousand Island with just a sprinkle of cayenne pepper. A big old pitcher of sweet iced tea for dessert, right from the oven. This time of year in North Mississippi, the apples fall. We got wild apples grow everywhere over here, like most people cultivate them. We pick those apples, I peel them off, stew those apples, put them in an apple pie, bring it from the oven, and Coach, this is for you, 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream.
You like apple pie there?
Yeah, I do. Ice cream. I want the apple pie to be hot.
I like that thick crust apple pie right from the oven. You throw that vanilla ice cream, let it melt right down through the crust.
All right, Max, real quick before you go, we got to get out of here. What's the LSU Georgia score going to be?
Here's what I'm thinking right now, and I'm going to give you a score. If it goes past 30, Georgia wins it hands down. If they keep it in the 20s, and let's say 28-24, I think LSU's got a great chance. I'm picking Georgia to win, but I'm not even. I don't think they cover. I think it'd be close enough. I'm going to say 28. I'm going to say 28-21. 6 points.